Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I know I haven't filmed a video over here in quite a few days, and I don't really have any good excuse. I have just, I've been really struggling this week and trying to just put one foot in front of the other as I try to do in life, you know? And I've just suffered a lot of loss in the last week. I have lost 4 people in my life that I knew very, very well at one time or another. And just 2 days ago, I found out yesterday morning that my old sponsor passed away. And with each loss, it just seems like a bigger blow. I don't even really know how to explain it other than that. It was weird. I was watching Wentworth last night. I'm trying to catch up on the last season of Wentworth, and they were talking to the therapist at the prison about something, and he was talking about PTSD, but I was like thinking about this in terms of just like sadness and going through stuff, right? And he said it's kind of like a water drain dripping into a cup. You know, it's like a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then at some point it like suddenly like overflows, right? And like that's just how I felt yesterday morning when I woke up. And in fact, I had to go pick up my friend Tanya Jean from the airport because she was coming back from Florida. She was also a very dear friend of my sponsor. And the whole way there, it just was like pouring down, torrential downpour rain, right? And I could only see like 20 feet in front of me on the interstate, and I'm like holding like, you know, the wheel at 10 and 2 just driving through, and like this music is playing, and I'm just like sobbing as I'm driving, right? And it was really cathartic for me, you know, it was really cathartic for me to like get that out of my system. But it's so hard because I think with each loss, you know, in my life, just not in the last week, but in my life, it's like with each loss, I think, you know, each one is so different depending on what the relationship was I had with that person. You know, what was the relationship at the time that they passed? You know, what age was I? I think that has a huge part of it. You know, was I 20 or was I 49, you know? Like, how long had I been friends with that person, or how long had they been in my life? Were they a family member that had been there since birth, or, you know, is this somebody that I just knew for 6 months, you know? And really, like, what personal things were shared and stuff like that. And so my old sponsor, he had lung cancer, and he had been in hospice, and, you know, died peacefully in his sleep, and his son told my friend, and just, you know, was surrounded by people that loved him at the end. And but at the same time, it's just like, I think about all the good times that we spent, you know, out on the boat. He loved boating, right? And we would go to Lake Norris, Tennessee every summer, and all the times that we spent out on the boat, you know, and these jokes that he would tell, and all the things that he really helped me with. I mean, like, I can remember calling him and just being devastated about stuff, you know. And, you know, he was somebody that taught me, he'd say, you know, Peter, he'd say, 90% of the things that you worry about never even happen in your life. And he was the man that taught me that, you know. My other sponsor, right after him, was the one that taught me, you know, about spilled milk. And so I look at all these things and all these mentors in my life that I've had, and I feel so blessed. At the same time, it's just sad, you know. It's just really, really sad. And on top of being my sponsor, he just was one hell of a friend. I mean, we had so much fun together, and he was such a good guy, you know. And for years upon years, I mean 10 years, long before he was my sponsor, and even afterwards, you know, we would go to dinner, you know, after our home group, all of us together, and sit outside at bonfires at Tanya Jean's, and, you know, go get fountain pops, all of us. And it was an era, you know. And I feel like with him, it's kind of like the end of an era. So anyway, I thought today, I only brought one book with me. I thought I would talk about healing, or grief today. And so the book is called Healing After Loss, Daily Meditations for Working Through Grief by Martha Whitmore Hickman. Did you hear my neighbor dog barking outside? This is literally probably 3 to 4 hours a day at this point. It is teaching me peace in my life, and it is teaching me patience, because I sit here and I try to film videos, and he just runs back and forth and barks, and Boo and Tucker at some point will join him. But if you just sit here, you can hear how loud he is. Me That's me practicing patience. So I thought I would read from this book, and actually a friend of mine whose son had passed away, she gave me this book, and she said that this book helped her a lot when he passed away, and she said, I hope that you will find it healing as I did. So anyway, I wanted to read from this today and just specifically read about something to do with grief. So let's go to November 12th. I have no idea what it's going to say today, so I may pick randomly another meditation if this one isn't real applicable, but I'm hoping that it will be. Okay, November 12th. Give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Isaiah 6:13. The prophet is anticipating the good news of God's deliverance. Of what does deliverance consist for us? Not that the situation will change and our loved one can be restored to us. It's interesting because this book isn't like really highly religious. Like, that's interesting that I just went to like a really religious one. Let me just like really randomly pick one out. Okay, Walt Whitman, May 23rd. All goes onward and outward, nothing collapses, and to die is different from what anyone supposes and luckier. Walt Whitman. Can we read in the flow of life, in the return of songbirds and roses and blueberries, some reassurance that it is life's intention to waste nothing, but to keep the basic substance of life itself going? And if this is true for the smaller, less complex works of creation, surely it must be true for the intricate and wondrous creations, which is a human being. Death helps to define our life, to give it some framework and the urge to do, and be what we can, because an end to life as we know it will come. And then what? None of us knows. But we can take some clues from what we do know of the rest of creation. The clues lead us to hope, as do the stories of dying persons whose faces become suffused with joys and wonder. Not all dying persons have such an experience. We don't need 100% validation any more than we need to add up all the columns of figures in the world to know that 2 + 2 = 4 every time. When facing the unknown, hope is as reasonable as despair. So I started crying because I was thinking in there when it was talking about, death being basically the final frontier, what's the saying that the great equalizer is death, that we're all going to die. One of the things that my current sponsor, she always says to me is, we all have an expiration date, and how are you going to choose the time before that expiration date comes? How are you going to choose to live your time and live your truth? And as much as I hate that statement, I love that statement at the same time. I mean, it's a reminder that I need to remember It's something I need to remember every single day, that I have an expiration day, There's going to be a day that I am not here anymore. But it doesn't make it any easier when it's my friends. It doesn't make it any easier when it's family members that I love or people that have impacted my life in such a strong way. It doesn't make it any easier, And I think about that and I think, God, I don't want to lose any more people. And I talk on my vlog about this, so if you're somebody that doesn't watch my vlog, this will be the first time you've probably ever heard me talk about it, but I talk about it on my vlog a lot. That if I were able to come up with some machine or whatever, right? I wish I could stop time. I wish I could stop time sometimes, and we could just live in the cozy mysteries and the dogs being alive and not getting any sicker and Pee-Pee still being here and, Alex and I watching TV, late at night and Tanya and I going to get a fountain pop. And sometimes I wish I could stop time and that life wouldn't be any more painful, And, but the thing about that is that I do know is that it's the bitter and the sweet. I mean, I know that today, right? It's the good days and the bad days. And without the loss, you wouldn't appreciate the gain. Without the failure, you wouldn't appreciate the success. And without the sad days, you wouldn't appreciate the good days. It's just the truth, whether we like to accept it or not. That's the way the world works. And today, I choose to try to accept that as best I can. But I think it's fine to be sad and feel our emotions. I think that's probably the greatest gift I've allowed myself in the last 10 years, is to just fully feel my emotions and never once be ashamed of them or be embarrassed and just say, this is who I am. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.